This weekend is the first race of the season in America and only the third running of the Miami Grand Prix. It's round 6. The race will be 57 laps of the 5.412 kilometer street circuit that goes around the Miami Dolphin Stadium. The circuit itself has 19 corners, and the last winner, unsurprisingly, was Max Verstappen. The track also has 3 DRS zones. The first one, once you've started the lap, is after turn 8 down the long straight. Then after turn 16 and on the way down to the penultimate corner, you have a second DRS zone that starts halfway down. And finally, the last one is on the pit straight. That's the shortest of the 3. It won't surprise you to know that these are the best overtaking spots on the track. This weekend is also another sprint race, making this a back-to-back sprint weekend after the last sprint in China. Drivers will need to get dialed in early with only one practice session available. The tyres available for this weekend are the C2s as the hards, and the C3 as medium, and the C4 as the soft. Last year, most drivers did a one-stop, starting on the mediums and then going to hard, so depending on the temperature this weekend, we could see the same. Before we get into the weekend itself, I just want to quickly talk about the circuit. Let's be honest, it's not a good track. Miami is all about the show. In fact, it's very similar to Vegas in that respect. Austin is the best American circuit we race at in Formula 1 for actual racing, and it's not even close. The Miami circuit has some good elements from a single lap perspective, but that chicane is an abomination. Even after some changes, it's still a terrible corner for Formula 1 cars. I mentioned it, but last year was a one-stop race, so I am expecting the same this year. With that in mind, I'm not anticipating a particularly exciting race, but I hope I'm proven wrong. What should we expect from the Miami Grand Prix? Well, blue. Sure, blue is the signature colour of Miami, especially the Miami Dolphins, but it's Ferrari that are going to be blue this weekend. Ferrari are going to be running a special one-off livery for this weekend to honour the manufacturer's 70th anniversary in North America. The design will feature 2 historic shades of blue, Azzurro La Plata and Azzurro Dino. They haven't actually shown off the livery yet, but what's really interesting is that the drivers themselves have had some input in the design, with Ferrari sharing some behind the scenes on social media. We've already seen the race suits and the merch, which definitely leans towards a full blue livery for the Scuderia this weekend, who have also announced their partnership with HP that will begin from this weekend onwards, officially becoming Scuderia Ferrari HP. The technology company, not the source, just to be clear. They are due to show off the livery at a special event in Florida before the Miami Grand Prix weekend begins. Alright, if we can move past the excitement of a blue Ferrari, what are we actually expecting from the Miami Grand Prix? I said earlier I wasn't expecting a particularly exciting race, and I'm not, but there are a few unknowns here. First of all, there are some big upgrades coming, notably from Mercedes. There is supposedly a new floor and a new side pod design from them, which isn't just trying to move them forward, it's trying to cure some of their ailments, especially in setup. We know so far this season that they've been really struggling to get that car in the sweet spot, and when they get it in that sweet spot, it's actually pretty fast. The problem is it's such a small window and it sort of flicks in and out of it. If they can get the car in a better place more regularly, I do think they'll be further up the grid. They're not going to be Red Bull far up the grid, but they're going to be certainly challenging Ferrari and McLaren more regularly. However, the problem is for them, McLaren are also bringing an upgrade to this weekend. I'm going to keep tabs on all these upgrades, which is why this video is coming out early. It's coming out on a Monday because I want to be there for when these upgrades do launch and we do start seeing them in the paddock. But McLaren arguably are a faster car right now, or a faster team than Mercedes, and they are also bringing an upgrade to Miami. These teams are finding ways to bring their Imola upgrades forward, Mercedes especially, because they feel as though they need it. So we've got some unknowns there. We don't know where McLaren are going to be relative to Mercedes and whose upgrade is really going to help them or improve the car more. Then the race after, Ferrari are bringing a very substantial upgrade at Imola. So even if Mercedes and McLaren have the edge on Ferrari for this race weekend, which is not a given, doesn't mean that it's going to stay that way. Over the last few years, though, We've noticed a trend with Mercedes. They promise with upgrades that the car will be in a better position, move forward, but they flatter to deceive a little bit. I feel like themselves, they've not said too much about this upgrade. They've kind of dampened their own expectations. Maybe it'll be a positive thing for the team and they'll be able to extract a bit more performance. We'll have to wait and see. So there are a few unknowns going into this weekend. I'm not that excited for the Miami Grand Prix, though. I think the race last year it's not the best race circuit. But hopefully there'll be a few surprises thrown in there and we'll have a lovely race. I'll be live on this channel for all of the sessions this weekend, so join me. Thank you for watching and stay tuned for some updates this week and some videos about all these upgrades coming for the teams. I'll see you then.